Hello and welcome to Battleground Hyderabad. If you thought silence prevailed here at the State Secretariat in Hyderabad because there is no elected government in place and the state is under president's rule, you need to only step inside to hear the pent-up fury, especially among the Seemandhra government employees who feel the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh has landed them between a rock and a hard place.
This was how the Secretariat looked like every day since July 30th, when the Congress Working Committee decided to bifurcate Andhra Pradesh. Government employees from Telangana and Seemandhra were engaged in a slanging match. Shouting each other down, hoping the decibel levels of their lung power would influence the decision on Telangana. Not anymore. The dust has settled down, but the hurt and silent grief among Seemandhra employees refuses to go away. And at election time, they are hoping political parties will address their concerns. Pulla Reddy took charge as Director HRD at the Andhra Pradesh Power Distribution Utility in February this year.
This is the letter
And claims he was the target of abuse and physical violence by colleagues from the Telangana region. The reason apparently was because he hails from Seemandhra.
Same kind of problem.
Are you expecting that during the 10 years that it will be a joint capital, shared capital, these kind of issues will be more?
Definitely. It is a beginning. Definitely in future also we can expect some more cases also like this. In that way, in that atmosphere, employees may not be in a position to work in a peaceful condition.
No, that doesn't solve the problem. Herein lies the glitchy problem actually.
Ramamurthy, also from Seemandhra, works as a section officer in the General Administration Department at the State Secretariat. His angst is that his children, who would enjoy local status in Telangana by virtue of studying from class 4 to class 10 in Hyderabad, would be treated as non-locals in Seemandhra.
After 10 years of capital here, the Seemandhra government of capital will be moved to the Seemandhra region, whereby my children will lose the local status there, so that they will lose the eligibility for the employment and also education facilities in the institutions in the Seemandhra region. That is the biggest problem.
Till the other day, couples where one partner hails from Telangana and the other from Seemandhra were celebrated as symbols of unity between the three regions of Andhra Pradesh. Now such couples, if both partners are government employees, are worried about state division, dividing their homes.
Suppose one of the spouse belongs to Telangana area, one of the spouse belongs to Seemandhra area. They won't give any option to stay in Hyderabad. Definitely they will have to, the wife has to stay in Telangana, husband has to stay in Seemandhra. They will permanently bifurcated. They won't mingle with each other. The family, the concept of family will be disturbed. Their children also disturbed.
On June 2nd, when the two states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh will officially come into existence, both governments will function out of this secretariat. There is also a proposal to build a Hyderabad version of the Berlin Wall to keep the two entities separate within the same complex. But in poll season, a wall of a different kind, and us versus them, is already being built.
The union government estimates that there are some 84,000 posts which will have to be divided between the two states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. While the Congress wants the Seemandhra employees to be given the option to choose where they want to be posted, the Telangana Rashtra Samiti wants all Seemandhra employees to be sent back. TRS Chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao's argument is that when a majority of the employees at this secretariat are from Seemandhra, how can a government of Telangana work with them?
The TRS, which has always accused people from Seemandhra of usurping jobs that should have come to people from Telangana, will be under pressure to deliver, having promised the moon once the state is a reality.
They have to go, they have to go. We are not going to allow them out of the way, because our employees should get promotions. Our young youth should get some new employment opportunities.
On target are students from Seemandhra as well. The TRS does not want students from Andhra Pradesh to get admissions in higher educational institutes in Telangana, most of which are located in Hyderabad. A position that has upset educationists.
The kind of statements, the kind of signals that come from TRS are always antagonistic, always inimical, always hatred based. So I have a feeling that this will slowly get into the mold of Shiv Sena over a period of time, which is not good for Telangana.
There is concern over whether Hyderabad will see an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation on just about any issue.
If Seemandhra people cut their relations with the coastal and the Rayalaseema region, if they really behave as the citizens of Telangana, then the people of Telangana will address their issues and they will be like the fellow brothers, and there will be fraternity among those people. But if they behave as outsiders, as we have seen in these 60 years of United States, if they behave as Seemandhra people and if they try to protect their interests in the garb of hurting the sentiments of Telangana people, then there would be an emergence of superiority which will be supported by the Telangana government.
On Hyderabad's Osmania University campus, that was the ground zero of the Telangana agitation, the equations have changed. It is obvious who is the outsider now.
Even today, like people in here, they ask me like, okay, what is your rank? From where are you? How did you get into OU? You got any reservation? That happens here. That I face that here. So that is still there in some corner of the heart. So I don't want that.
Hyderabad is a city where people from different regions of Andhra Pradesh are settled, and they will vote depending on where they hail from and what they feel about the division of the state. Given that 1/3 of the city's population is from non-Telangana areas, this vote will play a significant role in determining who emerges victorious in the Assembly and Lok Sabha constituencies in the city.
The TRS is not a political force in Hyderabad. It does not have a single MP, MLA or a corporator, which is why the party ensured KCR's return to Hyderabad was converted into a show of strength in the city. Given the fact that the capital city was the bone of contention between Telangana and Seemandhra, a poor electoral show by the TRS and the Congress will be interpreted as a thumbs down by the citizens of Hyderabad to the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh.
The problem is not Hyderabad as such, but the settler vote in Hyderabad. Now, if the settler vote in Hyderabad is demonstrably backing what is now called Andhra parties, which is basically the TDP or Kiran Kumar Reddy's party or even Jagan's party, then we have trouble.
Trouble is a worrisome expression, especially when it is used in context of demanding homogeneity among 87 million citizens of Hyderabad to the idea of Telangana.
You're saying that the integration would, a result like that, a verdict like that would make the integration that much more difficult?
It will make it impossible because so far they have not integrated. Now the states have disintegrated. The state itself is disintegrated. So they are now confronted with the choice. Which side are they on?
The issue of law and order in Hyderabad has been kept under control of the common governor of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh instead of the elected Chief Minister of Telangana state, essentially to give a sense of security to those from Seemandhra who are settled in Hyderabad. But for politicians from Hyderabad, this is a sore point. They are milking it at election time, harping on the cop in Hyderabad, taking orders from New Delhi.
You are saying that 8.5 districts Telangana CM is good enough to govern, but 1.5 the Telangana CM is not good enough to govern. You don't have confidence in your own party man. And who's governor? Governor is nothing but a glorified supporter of the ruling party. Tomorrow X party comes in power, they'll remove this man and have another person. But what about people? What about democracy?
The Telangana parties are gloating over having gained political power. But when the two states become an official reality, they will have to grapple with a power deficit Telangana, where Hyderabad could be subjected to blackouts.
We from the industry feel that power is definitely going to be a matter of concern for industries in and around Hyderabad, because at present the power consumption of industries in and around Hyderabad is a major chunk. And the present production of power within the state of Telangana is not enough.
But beyond these issues of roti, kapra, makan, bijli and naukri,
hunger knows no boundaries, which is what this popular restaurant in Secunderabad is harping on this election season. Post-bifurcation, ad gurus are getting inspired by the redrawing of the geographical boundaries to tell the world that division does not mean business will be in the red. Instead, corporates are rebranding themselves on either side of the Telangana-Andhra divide.
But even as Hyderabad settles down, having removed the safety nets on commercial establishments and shopping malls that were a symbol of fear in a city torn apart by frequent agitations and bunds, opinion on the street is divided on whether the worst is over.
The worst is over, yes, but it's there is still a matter of resolution of the status of Hyderabad. As you know, the Act is very ambiguous about it. The governor's powers, the common capital, the common high court, the common quotas, the common examination. The commonality in the Act is far more than any Act. I mean, it's unusual compared to any other organization Act. So in a sense, you have divided the states politically, but you have kept the institutional structure intact.
The apprehension is that the shared capital status will bestow on Hyderabad a confused persona, as if the clock is static in the city of Charminar while the rest of the world moves ahead.
Okay, see, Hyderabad as a brand is a brand with an expiry date to it, and that expiry date is 10 years from now. And to that extent, I think, it's a very tentative brand as far as I'm concerned. Because in the older days, Hyderabad competed with brands such as Bangalore. It would compete with an NCR, it could compete with some of the best IT/ITES centers. And the ecosystem of Hyderabad is terrific, continues to be terrific. But then, the ecosystem is not enough. The psychosystem is very, very important to understand as well. Psychologically, an investor is going to think twice when coming to Hyderabad. Fundamentally because he does understand that there is a bit of turmoil. There is Simhandra as one brand, then there is Telangana as another brand, and there is Hyderabad. And Hyderabad is a shared property, and a tentatively shared property, a contentiously shared property, a property which has seen a lot of tumult. So people are going to wonder, what is the fate of Hyderabad? So to that extent, I think 10 years is far too long a tenure on this expiry date. I would have loved it if the expiry date was a 3-year expiry date.
Most agree that a clean break would have served the purpose better. At least it would have made the path to reconciliation faster.
Brand Hyderabad should realize that our future is with Telangana and we have to move ahead in that direction. This intermediate period should only be used to the benefit of Simandra and not to the disadvantage of Hyderabad.
But while there is enthusiasm to make a fresh beginning in this 423-year-old city, there is apprehension that Telanganaization of the Hyderabad identity through a not-so-subtle attempt to pass off Telangana culture as Hyderabadi culture could create a new set of problems.
Over a period of time, as a part of social process, what happened is this Hyderabad has developed a different sort of culture. Even though they are celebrating this cultural aspect of Hyderabad, but at the same time these people are also making other cultural attempts to Telanganaize this Hyderabad region. So the ultimate aim is, they want Hyderabad as part of their cultural setup.
The positive point is, of course, there could be belongingness and, sense of ownership from the Telangana people. But the flip side would be that a lot of people like, people from Simandra and all the, as I said in the recent past, there's so much of cosmopolitan nature to this city, they might start feeling a little out of place.
And then there is the fear whether those settled in Hyderabad will be used as pawns in a dirty political game.
I hope that we don't get into a situation where just because you want to get some good votes, you would use certain tactics which is like local, non-local issues or some such things which we had past experienced in Bombay and Chennai. I hope Hyderabad doesn't go through that. And if that happens, because now that you are part of a divided state, the chances of that being used by political parties is high. At that level, I think people are concerned.
We cannot take this risk of even allowing a single, not only Simandra, but any person leaving Hyderabad, because Hyderabad, what it is, Hyderabad, whatever it is because of all these people. And even if one person Simandra leaves Hyderabad, it will be a huge loss to Hyderabad.
The Lok Sabha and Assembly elections therefore become very significant for the message the voters will send out.
Division of a state is one thing, political division of the state. But the strong message will be twofold. One, forget the past, now we're all one. We want a different kind of language from all of you.
In 2009, many individuals and companies crowdsourced strategies for Hyderabad on matters of civic concern like smart parking, intelligent transportation and carpooling. The Telangana agitation that began that year did not allow their efforts to bear fruit. With some closure to the bifurcation debate, the focus now is to transfer the ideas from the drawing board to the implementation stage.
We have all the ingredients for a great recipe of success. Let's say, for instance, now we have hybrid business models. We have big companies, we have small companies. We have academic institutions that we boast of practically everywhere. There are small SMEs. Then there is a startup culture now. And we have one of the largest cloud-based company in Asia here. So what prevents us from connecting all these small things and creating an environment of innovation?